What's going on, everyone? Jeremy here from The Quartering. Things appear to be heating up at Disney with a emergency town hall meeting being held as employees are probably stressed out because they keep hearing more and more about layoffs and cost cutting. Again, none of the multi-million dollar salaries of the executives are being cut. It's the frontline workers as per usual. And now Bob Iger is reportedly planning a town hall for employees during turnaround. Multiple leaders will participate in the event, with Iger expected to gear his comments towards the, quote, many opportunities before Disney, according to Bloomberg. The outlet cited an internal company memo. It will apparently be for all of the entertainment giant's employees. The town hall is scheduled for next week, Tuesday after Thanksgiving, or I guess it's 10 days or so. The entertainment giant recently released its fourth quarter financial results and reported overall revenue for the 3 months period of $21 billion and net income of $246 million. That's actually wild if you're thinking about the profit margins as a percentage is very small. They only kept $246 million out of they only kept $246 million out of $21 billion. While we have still work to do improving results, our progress has allowed us to move beyond the period of fixing and begin building our businesses again. Well, all this is, a lot of people in the comments, here's a business plan, make family-friendly films with TV and TV with good stories and compelling characters rather than making lousy stories that spend more time preaching than telling a good story. Be an entertainment company, not a political activist organization. Maybe he'll announce that they're going to listen to their customers and abandon the woke agenda. I don't know if I would expect that because Disney has they're so balls deep in this activist arc, this arc of them being more concerned with pushing political ideologies than profits. I mean, they're doubling, tripling. And we just talked about now we're gonna have an all-female Avengers. Like, okay, when it fails, don't even call us anymore. Don't even call me. When it fails, don't blame me. I'm not your audience anymore. You blame the Zoomers that you're making this crap for. And that's fine. If Zoomers want to show up and watch your cape stuff, good for them. I hope they enjoy it. But no more will you blame the people that propped up the original Marvel Cinematic Universe. No more will you blame the parents that propped your entire company up by flooding the theaters for movies that were wholesome, like the first and second Toy Story and Finding Nemo. Things like that solidified, that were good message films that weren't full of political propaganda. Now, we don't want to go to those movies. Parents aren't taking their kids to those movies. You told us you didn't want us anymore. You told us that you wanted to, push, every new character in your children's movies are trans or non-binary. Cool. Let the trans community support your crap. Okay, that's cool. You're making the stuff for the LGBTQ community. Awesome. I support you, LGBTQ community. I hope you support this Marvel stuff that they're making for you. They have told us it's not for us. They've continued to signal that. But now, even more drama is building as yet another activist investor enters the field, which looks to take over, essentially, power from the existing CEO. Value Act Capital has built a large stake in Disney and sees room for the media and entertainment giant stock price to roughly double. People familiar with the investment firm's thinking said Wednesday. San Francisco-based Value Act has known the Disney team for more than a decade and has contact with management as it builds stake over the last few months, said the sources who were not permitted to discuss the firm's views publicly. While the exact size of the stake is unclear, it could not be learned what specific changes Value Act may be pushing for. How does this work? Well, this one activist, Peltz or whatever his name is, essentially what happens is these big companies buy up a bunch of stock to get a percentage of the company large enough to tell the board essentially what they want. They speak for, 10%, 12% of the investors. That's what Elon did. Elon bought all this stock in Twitter and forced his way onto the board of directors. And when he realized that that wasn't enough to make the changes he wanted, he just bought the company outright. Now, ValueAct's position was first reported by 13D Monitor. Disney's stock price could trade between $120 and $190 a share, far above its current $94 per share. Well, that's because nobody wants to see your movies anymore. Nobody's going to your theme parks anymore because people are literally dropping deuces in the lines. There's fights. I see fights there all the time. That doesn't even account for the absurd prices. CEO Bob Iger of Disney is well positioned in terms of streaming subscribers and his content library that spans animation, Pixar, Star Wars, Marvel, and general entertainment. The people said its theme parks can help earn more revenue from its characters and stories, blah, 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 blah. Now we get to this Nelson Peltz guy. ValueAct's position in Disney creates fresh drama as the first time the company valued at $167 billion is wrestling with yet another activist investor, Nelson Peltz's Train Fund Management. Peltz said in a regulatory filing on Tuesday that, or Trian, or whatever it's called, has again increased its stake in common shares by more than 400% and now owns 33 million shares, worth roughly $2.7 billion at the end of the quarter. Why is this important? Because this guy wants the company to focus on profits, not ideology. So we really could be seeing, the end of the woke nonsense from Disney as investors continue to stack shares, and then they're going to go in and they're going to say, hey, we don't want you to piss off half the country. All right? We have billions of dollars invested in your company. You're not allowed to go to war with Florida Governor Ron DeSantis. You're not allowed to have political opinions on stuff. And this is the stuff that Peltz has said. The stake is far bigger than any held by any hedge fund, which also owns stakes worth more than $100 million. Last month, Peltz, who's 81, signaled that he planned to nominate several directors to the board when the nomination window opens in a few weeks. He may be laying the groundwork for a second proxy fight after abandoning his push for one board seat back in February after the company laid out plans to address criticism. So essentially, back in February, he bought up a bunch of shares and said, I'm going to be on your board of directors now. Disney said, oh, okay, well, we'll get back to making money. We'll get back to doing things that you want. They did that for like a week, and then they abandoned it. So now he's looking to push again. Peltz has argued that the company is a shareholder in the boardroom, and Disney said earlier this year that Peltz was not qualified to serve on the board. ValueAct, meanwhile, has board seats at roughly half of the companies in its portfolio. Unlike other activist investors who noisily push for change through public presentations, ValueAct prefers to work quietly behind the scenes. It offers up its deep understanding of helping technology companies like Microsoft reinvent themselves, people familiar with the firm say. So what's interesting is if these guys come in, what kind of changes do they want to put in? I'm sure it's not, wild, woke propaganda. These people are in business generally to make money. And the, kind of the war on their wokeness is on now. And you have these, town hall meetings. I don't know what exactly that signals for sure, but certainly, it's not looking good. Obviously, Walt Disney's down today, but the entire market's down. It's down from $95 to $94. Oh, it's actually down to
right, 3 minutes to the
stupid
opening
ad.
bell. We got some green.
It's I thought the market was down today. Yeah. I mean, it's down. Oh, so it's up. Well, it's about even today. It peaked at $95 or so today, and then it's basically been plummeting. It was at $95.33, and it's all the way down to $94.51. So it gave up a full dollar a share. And I think that you look at a lot of these, the announcement of Frozen came out yesterday, which people think will make a lot of money. You see, after earnings, is Disney stock a buy, sell, or fairly valued? Many people kept it at a hold, but they have a fair value estimate, it's $145. Everyone basically seems to say that the stock should be doing better than it is. The problem is they keep pushing this propaganda. They keep putting out movies that keep losing hundreds of millions of dollars So there's not a lot of room for them to wiggle around. Eventually their investors are going to say, you got to make money. Put out a Toy Story and don't make it a cringe Mary Sue, which they did in the last one. Bo Peep was just constantly cucking Woody at every turn of events, and she was super strong and super powerful and whatever. And I get it. It's just a toy. It's a doll. But it's impossible to not see this stuff when it comes to Disney. What will happen at this town hall meeting? I don't know. It sounds like this is a reaction to, customer or employee concerns. So it'll be interesting to see. We'll have to wait and see how everything, you have Value Act building stake. You got that Peltz guy building stake. All these people want Disney to make money because, quite frankly, it's had a nice little run here in November. It was down to $79, so it's up over $10 a share. But it's still underperforming. People got all worked up when it was at $200 a share during the lockdowns. During the lockdowns, everybody made a lot of money on streaming. Well, Disney's streaming service kind of blows. And so that's why it really has not seen any kind of return to that. If they can't figure out streaming, it's never going to get to what these people are hoping, especially if they keep pissing off half of their customer base. So it'll be interesting to see how this may affect the upcoming releases at Disney. I hope you enjoyed this video, and we'll talk to you again real soon.